Welcome to Backer Pause. What is Backer Pause? Our judges watch crowdfunding videos on air. When they lose interest in a video, for any reason, they hit pause and explain what caused them to experience Backer Pause. This is a fun way to teach creators about attention spans and what works and does not work for their videos. Videos featured from projects that are being advocated for on comicbookadvocates.com with permission. Want to be judged? Have a crowdfunding campaign you want to have on the show? Well, send us an email at comicsnewswire@yahoo.com, and that's comics, C-O-M-I-X. So who wants to play? Warning and disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this live feed are those of the guests, speakers, and or hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs, official policies, ethics, or positions of the content providers, advertisers, additional hosts, and or guests, hosting sites, groups, or entities attached to this programming. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. As you guys can see, we have an exciting guest with us. We've been talking about her campaign. Introduce yourself, Cindy, and tell everybody who you are, where you can be followed, and what you're talking about tonight.
All right. My name is Cindy Cap. I can be found on my webpage, ckoepp.com. I write science fiction, fantasy, and game lit. I crochet critters, collect hats, and tell weird jokes. My current project is a Kickstarter campaign to fund the artist and some of the print costs for Animal Eye issue number 1. Animal Eye was originally a novel that released this time last year, and about 2 months after it released, the publisher contacted me and asked if I thought it might make a good comic book. And so for the last 10 months, I've been figuring out how to make that happen, and then it's ready to rock and roll now.
Was it difficult for the process of transferring it from one medium to another?
It was a bit tricky. There are some definite disconnects between a standard novel and a comic book. I have to write a whole lot tighter. I had to be able to explain everything that the artist needed to draw. Some things that were in the book to justify the level progression didn't work in the comic book because it would take too much space. And so there were some things that got cut, some things got moved around. You get introduced to the bad guys way sooner.
Get the water. Sorry about that. My son needs water. He's screaming in the back. I need water. Let me ask you one thing. This is something that is a bit of a debate. Have you noticed that it is more difficult to edit a comic versus a novel? Because I've talked to some editors, and there's definitely a learning curve in the editing. Like you said, the story, having to be able to cut it down, know what goes right, as Jax Destroys have to say. Here, baby. Live videos, right? So just talk to us about the difference of comic versus that while I put the set back together.
Yeah, I've edited novels. I've only written a comic script. I haven't had a chance to edit somebody else's yet. But yeah, it was tougher to write the comic script than a novel just because of the pacing issues. One of my mentors referred me to some books by Scott McCloud on comic books, and although those were geared mostly toward the artist, it helped me understand the theory behind comic writing so that I made sure I hit the points that the artist needed to be able to draw everything and keep the pacing straight. But even with that, the people I sent the script to for critique came back with a lot of editing suggestions and in the pacing. There were a lot of panels where I didn't think a dialogue was needed, and they told me, no, really, you got to have something happening in here, and if not, get it out of there. So it was tough to make the transition, but I've already written the script for number 2, and I'll be starting on number 3 shortly.
Very, very cool. Well, we're going to bring in our other judge in just a minute, but first, let's play your video, and then we'll bring him in. He's already in the background. I do see you. We're going to bring you in on the other side of the video. So here we go. This is your Animal Eye video. So you guys are in for a treat. This is a great thing.
What if you could see the world like an animal? What if you could soar like a bird? Detect faint smells like a dog? What if a video game allowed you to play an animal character in a unique fantasy setting? What if a comic book series put you in such a video game setting, telling the story from the point of view of animal companions to human characters? Welcome to the world of Animal Eye. This comic book series will follow the adventures of 3 animal characters, Ava the crow, Nagid the dog, and JL the bear. Many fantasy stories feature animal helpers to human characters, especially horses or dogs, but sometimes birds like falcons, or in the case of Animal Eye, a crow. Fantasy-based video games do this as well at times, with human or demi-human player characters in the role-playing video game, with animal assistants in the game available to the main characters as what are, in effect, non-player characters. The Animal Eye story world flips this dynamic on its head. In Animal Eye, the video game player characters are the animals, and the non-player characters are the humans the animals assist. Join playtesters Ken May and Jake as they become Ava the crow and Nagid the dog. In Issue 1, each must find a human companion to guide them on their adventures. Ava finds Aussie, Bakari tribesman, archer, and herbalist. Baron Raphael Dorcas, who wields a sword and a flintlock pistol, teams up with Nagid. In the world of Animal Eye, demented monsters are attacking settlements, including Aussie's family. Join Ava and Aussie as they come to JL's aid in a fight against the maniacs. Join Baron Raphael and Nagid as they undergo a parallel adventure battling demented maniacs. Issue 1 lays the groundwork for a unique comic book series in 6 issues, adapted from the novel Animal Eye by Cindy Kep. An adventure is beginning, an adventure you can join with your support, an adventure where you can become the animal.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. We're back. I think we're getting a little bit of feedback. Yeah, you might be getting a little bit of feedback. Just turn down your speakers. It'll go away.
All right.
So, Cindy, talk to me. How did you come up with the concept of this story? Because it's so compelling. Like, you never really hear of something like this outside of, like, the DC superhero pops.
Several years ago, I wrote a story in which the characters played a game. I didn't realize gamelit was actually a genre at that time, but about that same point, I was writing a quest-based novel, but the novel just didn't quite work out right. When I found out that gamelit was a phenomenon, then I talked to the publisher, and we agreed to reset it as a gamelit adventure. So we created the game mechanics and then mutated the story. Instead of just trying to plug the mechanics into the existing fantasy, I rewrote the stories to get it to fit. So the original story was all about the adventure of an African gray and a dog helping their humans solve a problem with maniacal killers. But the critters were not actually in a game. There was actually literally an African gray that was modeled off of my own parrot and a very large fuzzy dog.
Okay.
And so when we rebuilt it as gamelit, then we made those player characters and then made the humans the NPCs.
So I obviously haven't read it because it's on Kickstarter. Do you give the animals narration? Have you actually written dialogue for them, or are we just seeing it through them?
The novel is told from within the character of the animal's point of view, and so you get their voice that way. And the crow can actually speak. At first, you can only mimic what she's already heard, but later on, she actually develops a much freer form of speech. In the comic book, when the player characters have comments to make, then this shows up as thought bubbles. and the crow can still occasionally put together sentences, and that skill develops as she gains levels throughout the game.
Sorry, we're trying to figure out the mic thing while we're doing this.
Yeah,
There's still feedback. If you want, back out and come back in. That sometimes fixes the sound thing. For some reason, it's just a bad signal. But I absolutely love it. I like the video. I will say the one thing about the video, I think you should go right into like the animals a lot more, kind of make them the creators, almost make the video look like it's from their point of view. Like, what would an animal do if they backed a Kickstarter? That would be kind of cool to play with. But while our other judge is logging back in, we're going to play his video, and we're going to see what he's up to. And then you'll be able to give some advice on his video, and hopefully he'll be back so he can actually talk about it. But do you have any URL that's special? Like sometimes people have a URL just for the campaign.
Yes, it's bit.ly. I'm putting it in the chat. It's bit.ly animal IKS.
Yeah, that's better. All right, so we're going to watch your video now. Welcome to the program. Do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Sure. Sorry about the technical issues. So my name is Laurent. I've been writing for about, I'd say about 13, 14 years. The only thing I've actually had out so far has been a webcomic from a couple years back.
And that was a good webcomic. Whatever happened to that webcomic? I subscribed to that webcomic. I expected more, damn it.
So what happened with that was a mix of the artist. She kind of wanted to pursue her own series, and that took a lot of time. Doing mine took a lot of time from her. But the other primary thing, which actually made it beneficial to me, is that costs a lot of money to make over time, and I wasn't really making too good money back then. So I was like, I wanted to continue. It's a story that, I mean, that webcomic's in kind of an indefinite hiatus. I've kind of like feel like I've grown as a writer. There's things in that I see that I did right, and things I'm like, I could do better. I can work on this. So that's something I'm eventually going to go back to, kind of like revamp from the beginning, keep a lot of the same elements. Because like I said, I do feel like there's a lot of good there. It's just, I wasn't as proficient with certain things as I am now. I feel like I can tell a story way better now.
And just tell them where they can follow you on social media before we watch your video, so everyone knows how to follow you.
So I am on Instagram and Twitter. Both of them, the tag is always be evil. There's underscore between, always, then be, then evil. And as you'll see in a second, the only other thing I have up right now outside of the webcomic, which the link is in my Kickstarter, is my Kickstarter campaign.
And this is cool. Like, I dug this. Like, when you brought this to me, I'm like, how haven't you shared this with me earlier? I remember I was like, this is good. So you guys got to check it out. Here we go. Uninterrupted, because he's the judge, and no one gets to pause the judge. So check out his video.
Hello, my name is Laurent. I'm excited to be on Kickstarter for the first time, showing off my original comic, Sacrifice. Set in the modern age, Sacrifice follows a man named Damien Blackwell. When he was an infant, the satanic cult performed a ritual to tie his soul to Lucifer. Their goal was to sacrifice him and summon Lucifer, which would bring about an age of demons. As you saw in the intro, this ritual was interrupted by angels, but not before the soul bonding could be completed. Now, whenever Damien dies, Lucifer will be summoned, and the world as we know it will come to an end. The actual story of Sacrifice takes place 24 years after this ritual, and the common man has no idea that angels and demons are living among him. During this time frame, the demons and other dark forces have been working towards killing Damien. The angels, on the other hand, have been watching over Damien from a distance, but their primary goal has been finding a weapon strong enough to kill Lucifer. This leaves Damien in the middle, who at this point in the story is a 24-year-old man and has awakened to unbelievable amounts of demonic power. What type of person does he grow to become? I won't spoil that for you, but I can promise you it's not what you'd expect. This 32-page first issue will be the first in an action-packed series featuring plenty of horror, comedy, fantasy, and pop culture elements. If you like stories like Shaun of the Dead, Army of Darkness, or Ghostbusters, which are filled with various types of demons, monsters, ghosts, and horrific creatures, but still have plenty of room for comedy in between, then you'll love Sacrifice. If Sacrifice sounds like something that would be interesting to you, I ask that you share it with the people around you who think who might also be interested. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope I have your support.
I'm gonna let Cindy say what she thought of it, but I'll say like that video, well done, well done. The only thing I could really critique is your very first shot was kind of like, what do they call it? There's a term for it. It's more like a phone setting as opposed
Portrait?
to the. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a portrait. So that's it. That's all I had for that entire video was that one little bit because I was really impressed. Well done, sir. What did you think?
I think the opening images were very compelling, even before like the description started. Then, as you described the storyline and what was happening with all the other art shots that were appearing over your shoulder, those help provide the balance between the talking parts and the visuals, because people want to see more of the art, and so I think that struck a really nice balance.
And Trish is going to be your student in Sacrifice, and she gives you the I think your voice over during the beginning, then you would have to explain it later, in my opinion. You wouldn't have to explain it later. I kind of like the way it was because you get that commercial aspect of it, and then he comes on to explain it. I think that's the perfect follow-up. If you hadn't followed it up, then yeah, I agree with Trish, because you need that follow-up. And that's always good advice. I mean, that's just an opinion thing. I think you did good in it. So both of these amazing campaigns have a couple weeks left, right? If I'm not mistaken, both of you guys aren't anywhere near close to wrapping up. You have, what, 2 weeks on yours, Cindy, I think?
Right, about 12 or 13 days to go.
All right, so plenty of time.
We're headed in the last half.
Yep. The dreaded center of the campaign is over for both of you. You guys are getting towards the end now, and you can be on shows like this and getting it out there. How is it being? Both of you are first timers on Kickstarter, correct? For comics?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How's the experience been, real quick, before we get into some videos? I'm curious.
Very intense.
Way more time consuming than I thought. I've been putting a lot towards pushing it out there, talking to people, connections I made, and seeing what I could do with it. I saw something when I was doing my research online where it was like, hey, just know when you put up your campaign, just make sure you don't have to go to work for like 2 days, 3 days, because it's going to take a lot of time. I'm like, yeah.
And Trish says she liked what she saw, and that's why she backed Sacrifice, because it looked good. And Mike, always being the superstar he is, puts the link in. So we got both links now in the chat. I don't know why Cindy's didn't. I'm going to put Cindy's back in, because for some reason sometimes we have like failure thanks to Facebook, but I put it in, so now you guys can find it. Of course, by the way, huge news for those who don't know and didn't read today. Backer Pause now has its own URL. That's right. Backer Pause is now its own URL, so you can get to all the things on this list by just going to backerpause.com. The show has gotten to a point where it's well known enough that I was like, let's just give it its own .com and let people run with it. It goes back to Comic Book Advocates, and you guys can just see everything that's featured on the show tonight. How cool is that,
Excellent.
Right?
That's fabulous.
It's great.
So it's very easy to find now. You're watching the show, just go to thisshow.com. And I don't mean go to this. Oh, that'll ruin it, because people are going to be looking up thisshow.com now. I've ruined it for everyone. But we are going to get over. You guys ready to judge some videos and give your honest feedback on what's going on with these videos?
I think so.
All right.
I am. Only question, I know there's like the hand raise system. How do we go about that?
Yeah, just raise your hand. Just
okay, so physically raise it. Okay.
Yeah. Because when we go in the background, no one can see you but me, and I see you in this little tiny box. like at the bottom of my screen. Like you look down and you see yourself in that little box. That's how I have to look to find you guys. So if you ever see me going like this, it's usually because I'm looking at the guests or I'm trying to look at something at the bottom of the screen. I'm getting old. It's harder to see. Soon there's going to be a magnifying glass with me. But here we go. First up, we're going to have quicksand, and we're going to be looking at this. This is from Jonathan Hedrick, and he has an interesting video. It's almost like the most interesting man in the world. What do I mean? Well, this is what I mean.
I've always had a passion for comic books. The feel, the smell of them, and of course the stories. And I absolutely love storytelling. Hi, I'm Jonathan Hedrick, and I write comic books. Some of my titles include The Recount, Capable, and Freak Show Night. My newest book is called Quicksand, and it's a sci-fi horror miniseries I've been planning for years. The story begins with these monstrous creatures that attack a city in Egypt. After they wreak havoc on the people that live there, they run back into the giant hole in the earth near the pyramids from which they came. Soon afterwards, Canary One is formed, which is a team of experts in various scientific fields and military departments. They get sent into the hole to learn what these creatures are and where these things came from in order to prepare in case it happens again. But they never return. The rest of the series follows the wife of one of the members of Canary One, and she'll stop at nothing to get her husband back. Since the main character is a strong woman, I had to find an equally powerful artist for this project, and that was with Deborah Lancianese. Deborah is an Italian artist, and when I saw her work, I knew she was perfect for this comic book. She adds so much more to every panel. Sunil Gagar is the colorist. He's from India, and I've worked with him on several other projects, including Freak Show Princess and The Recount. Sunil is a workhorse. His colors are so beautiful, and that's why I bring him back on so many other projects of mine.
All right, because there's only two guests, one tap makes us stop. Why'd you tap out, my friend?
So the comic sounded really interesting to me, and I was liking it a lot. But the thing for me, I mean, and this is a personal opinion, is when it comes to like your Kickstarter video, I kind of mostly want to know just pretty much just about the comic. I want to know everything about the comic, because usually a lot of people will have their own section down towards the bottom where they do talk about the art team. I mean, not that it's bad, it's just a personal preference where I'd rather just be concise and about the comic itself.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. Where you've already got the bios for your cast further along, so yeah, if you've only got 2 minutes to share your info, spend it on the story.
Overall, I'm very interested by it, but that was just a personal thing for me.
Hey, it's backer pause. There's no wrong answer. It's what distracted you, but that art is beautiful. Jonathan's doing amazing stuff. Already working on some stretch goals. You guys only have till Friday. Do not sleep on this. It ends at 9 p.m., so make sure you back it before you go to bed on Friday. All right, so we have a brand new video. So Catch the Crazies. We talked about this a few weeks ago, how they changed their videos. So here we are. This is Catch the Crazies from our good friend Vera Sam. He's bringing us a brand new video, and I just got to bring up his little card here. I moved around some stuff in the room today, so I don't think I have the Catch the Crazies. That's all right. We'll watch the video. So here's the video for Catch the Crazies. In the meantime, I'll get his card up. This ends this week, but this is brand new, so I'm excited to see what you guys think. I like this video.
Hey guys, that's me. I'm Sam. I was hosting an indie award ceremony at New York Comic Con, and that's George, and he was doing interviews for our show, Catch the Craze. We were pretty hot. We even hosted after parties. But we went our separate ways, and after over a decade apart, we decided to get back and bring the craze back. But we realized we weren't hot anymore. So we didn't want to be taunted anymore by those knuckleheads. We are the craze. So I went into the woods, shouted to the universe, and the universe answered in the form of the crazy man. Yeah, don't ask. And he brings the crazies with him. And they wreak havoc. And now we have zombies. And we have detectives. And we have rivals. And we just want to stop the crazies. Can you help us catch the crazies? Pledge today.
All right, made it past without any of the pausing. What'd you guys think? I thought that was actually a really good Kickstarter video.
Yeah, I got into the storyline. It gave you the backstory along with what's going on now, and it was very fast paced. So they didn't slow down at any point. So it kept my interest the whole way through.
Same here, where like it's a very relatable situation at the beginning, where it's like, all right, you know, you had this person you're working on something, kind of split up and came back together, and then there was a lot of charm in how it progressed really quickly towards the end, where it's like everything they were dealing with being stacked on, and we just want to stop the crazy. It's like that really vibes me. I like that a lot.
And one of the things that I actually really like, but moving on to our next thing, but we never got a video out of them, but they've done fantastic on crowdfunding here. This is from John. It's the Pneumatic Cases, Sleuthing Steampunk Spouses. How cool is this? We have another steampunk thing that's going to blow your mind coming up in just a few minutes, but this is ending this weekend. This is the last time it'll be on our show. We have been covering this for a while, but it ends May 30th. And by the way, happy Memorial Day to everyone. Go out there and enjoy. We've finally begun to open up. Most states are allowing cool stuff to happen. Go out and have some fun if you've gotten your shot. And if you haven't gotten your shot, this is your motivating time to get those shots lined up, guys. Because the rest of us are going to be out partying with our vaccine shots on. Whole different type of shots now. I never knew that I'd be bragging about those type of shots when I got older, but here we are. I am. So this ends on the 30th, Memorial Day weekend. Make sure you check it out. I promise steampunk, and I deliver. Here we go. A double feature for my good friend, Roland Mann. This is a double feature, and because it's double feature, I'm going to let the whole video play because they are also ending on the 30th. So I ask for patience from the judges. We'll talk about it on the other end of it, but because it's two, I want both things to play fully out, if that's okay with you guys.
Good by me.
Okay, no problem.
So we won't be pausing this one. We'll let it run. When it gets towards the very end, after both pitches are done, if you guys want to pause it, I'm okay with that. Raise your hand, but let both pitches get done. Sound fair?
It's all right.
That's good.
All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Roland Mann, and I'm the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer at Silverline Comics, a genre-spanning independent comic and graphic novel publisher. And I'm here to tell you about our latest Kickstarter. Before I do, though, I need to remind you that we are 10 for 10. We have done 10 Kickstarters, and we have fulfilled 10 of them on time. That's important. Thank you for push and play, because I know that you got a lot of options. But we've done several of them before. You can see here, we've got Kickstarter books that are flip books, and that's what we're doing again. So I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to let Barb tell you about Divinity.
Hi guys, this is Barb Kelberg, the creator of Divinity, and I want to thank everyone for their patience in waiting for this next issue. It's been a crazy year, as I'm sure you're aware, but it's worth the wait. Thanks again.
Thanks, Barb. Now I'm going to let Scott tell you about Steampunk.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Wakefield, and I created Steam Patriots with my buddy Rory when we said that the steampunk world needs an origin story that starts in America. And we threw in crazy inventions by Ben Franklin and a young hero who's going to get swept up into the war when the British storm ashore looking for trouble in 1776. If you love history, you love steampunk, but you love action-adventure stories, you're going to be crazy about Steam Patriots. So we would love if you could support us however you can. And we can't wait to get the story into your hands. Thanks so much.
Cool. Thanks, Scott. Now, all we need is you. These books are finished. They're done. We got a little bit of work to do on the covers. Got some coloring to do. But other than that, the interiors are finished. All we really need is you to help us get the funds so that we can print them and ship them. Right? And as you've already seen, as I told you earlier, we're 10 for 10. This is going to be 11 for 11, but we need your help. Thank you, and remember to make mine Silverline.
All right, of course, America came up with steampunk. It all makes sense now. I'm happy. We created steampunk. Now I can get into steampunk. I'm going to start making steampunk. What do you guys think of this?
I wasn't a fan of the bumpers on both ends. They both had flashy effects, and that messes with my brain because of the seizure disorder stuff. But the content in the middle was great.
Fair enough. Fair. And I'm with you. I don't like a lot of that flashy stuff, and I don't have anything. It's just the ADHD, the way my mind processes things. That's too distracting, and it makes me want to turn away, and it frustrates me. I can't explain it any different than that. What did you think, my man?
Pretty much same shot. I mean, I wasn't too bothered by it. The only thing in the video that like kind of got me was just during Steam Patriots, just like the wind in the background was like a little distracting to me. I mean, I don't know if there's like I don't know a situation if there was like a room, like a quiet area you could record in. That's the only thing for me that was a little distracting, but otherwise good.
I promise I'm not flexing here. I was trying to show Roland's profile. By the way, Roland has the same thing I'm about to show you. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is pretty cool. They've added backer favorite to the actual thing. So if you're someone who is delivered on campaigns, Kickstarter is now rewarding you. Remember how he said 10 of 10 he fulfilled? So this is a way to know that people have done. They even says a creator who has proven a positive track record with their backers from their past Kickstarter campaigns. So they're celebrating that stuff now. So be mindful of this now. The fact that Kickstarter is actually starting to take this serious, and they're starting to look at the creators. Rolling Man, 10 for 10. I think 14 for 14. I'd have to go back and look at it. But under this profile, I believe it's 8 for 8, and I've created some earlier in my career under a different profile, and I've been part of other projects that I'm part of delivering on. So, you know, creator. But I just wanted to share that there is now this tracking system that's going on. Remember, Silverline is going to be ending on the 30th, this Memorial Day weekend. So don't wait. Get on it now if you like it. Remember, Barbara had actually won the award this year from our Independent Creator Awards for Divinity. So this is an award-winning actual book, second issue. We've been waiting for it. So get your copy today. We're going to move on. Our next thing on the show right now, we're going to actually take a break, if I'm not mistaken, and we're going to talk about this project brought to us by, and I'm going to call up the image right now, and look at this cover. This cover is awesome. All right, so this is Resilience, Creators Against COVID. Global Comics is doing an amazing job. You guys can see this new information came out today on comicbookadvocates.com. Bunch of creators came together and said, we will not put our pens down. We will continue to create. That's what this is, and it's all done for different charity organizations. So go to Global Comics today. Find their links on our site, and I believe I even have it in the back or pause link, and if I don't, I'll fix that tonight. But I'm pretty sure it's there, but it's definitely on Comic Book Advocates. We just dropped news today. How awesome is that? Not letting 2020 slow down creation and then giving back to communities.
It's great. Yeah. And the cover looked great, by the way. Like, I really just like the overall, like, you know, the mask over you see like the news, like just the whole thing. I loved it.
Yeah, really cool, right? So speaking of cool, Seed Seekers from our friend Martha Schwartz returning. This is Tales of the Seed Seekers, Finding Balance. Let's see if the video has found balance with our judges. Here we go.
The war became very hard once our hero Ian was sent to another dimension to save the seed from destruction. People pitted against each other as harsh battles became hard for most, especially for Shauna and Shane. The heirs of the evil wizard Ludicrous, they had to stay hidden as they were considered beacons of destruction in their father's wake. Sure, the kingdom, which was led by the queen and her patron Solomon and
Did you tap out, Cindy? Or did I screw up? I saw the hand.
Well, I was pulling my headset away. The feedback noise through the sound
bad.
that was pretty impressive. Yeah, by pulling it back, I lost the feedback and could still hear the voice.
Do you guys want me to restart it, or are you guys kind of out because of that noise?
The noise was distracting, but I was.
Hey, if you can pick it back up where it left, then I could just move my headset.
Let's see if it lets me do that. Hold on.
war became very hard once our hero Ian was sent to another dimension to save the seed from destruction. People pitted against each other as harsh battles became hard for most, especially for Shauna and Shane. The heirs of the evil wizard Ludicrous, they had to stay hidden as they were considered beacons of destruction in their father's wake. Sure, the kingdom, which was led by the queen and her patrons Solomon and Adrian, did have a strong disconnect due to the destruction that their father had caused. Shauna had to protect her brother at all costs, the best way she could. Through the magic her father had taught her, she was able to do so. But were Shauna and Shane the real monsters of the kingdom? Let's follow our friends as they live, learn, and challenge in the wake of the war. How will they cope? How will they grow? What's the next for the duo as they feel lost and alone? No matter the fate, they find a lot of things along the way, including friendship and understanding, meeting new friends like Shoho the dragon, and learning a lot from older friends like Toby. What will happen once they find balance? Find out balance here in Finding Balance.
All right, welcome back. What did you guys think? I know the sound was obviously an issue. That was not feedback from our end. That's the video. People have picked up on that since it's been on. Again, this is its last week, so please check it out before the Memorial Day weekend. Go ahead, guys. Cindy will go first.
Okay. I was much more interested in the foreground art than in the panning across the ruins in the background. In fact, I think the video would have been greatly improved if either the foreground art had taken up more real estate on the screen, or if the background panning had been a solid color, or something less mobile. I found myself trying to find out, okay, what's that? And oh, that's a interesting little angel statue, which I'm thinking. And I did lose the voice under the feedback a couple of times, but the story description sounded fascinating, and I liked the foreground art. I think she picked some good images for that.
What did you think?
So, I mean, the feedback's already been addressed. So outside of that, I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. There wasn't a point where like the story was being described that I didn't have like some level of interest in like what was going to happen next, what was going to be happening on top of a thread that she kind of left on there. I mean, I enjoyed like the background. So there were times like that where I did look at the background, I was like, that lion statue looks rad. Like stuff like that would cross through my mind while I was listening to it. I mean, but overall, I enjoyed it.
All right. We are going to move on, but quickly just want to give you the heads up that Sister Mercy is going to be starting very soon. You guys can check it out now by going on to Kickstarter, looking it up, and signing up for the 4th one to be notified. All right, so our next one on today's show is going to be brought to us by Steve Tanner, and Steve has a unique story for us, and trying to see if all right, so we're going to play the video right now. This is, remember, just raise your hand. This is going to be Harker. Here we go. Harker. And I can see you in the room now, so you can do it.
Yes, Gov. Do you want me to turn the lights on?
No. This is more dramatic. Do you understand suspense?
Well, no, it's not suspenseful if you can't see anything.
Look, if we turn the lights on, people will spot us.
Ah, so we're doing this undercover?
No, if we're undercover, we'd be wearing ridiculous costumes.
Well, you're still wearing that ridiculous pandemic beard.
It's not ridiculous, it's distinguished. Also, shut it.
Yes, Gov.
We're going to find out who's been doing these Kickstarter projects about us, and then we'll nick them.
Righto, Gov. Hang on then. It's Steve Tanner, Gov.
What?
Steve Tanner. His name's on the project.
Why do you tell me?
Well, it's not my fault you don't use your phone, Gov.
Okay, well, it's clearly fallen into my cunning trap. Follow me.
Cunning trap?
Quick see.
Coming, Gov.
All right, that's it.
That was it?
Yep. That's their video. I don't know anything about it from that. I can tell you that their pitch is the Book of Solomon Part 2, the gripping finality to the first hacker storyline. I don't think they want anyone to know what their book's about. I think they've worked really hard to make sure that you have to look at their campaign. Do you guys have anything to add, or do you just want to move on to the next?
I was just waiting for them to get to the part about, what's the story. I mean, all the setup was fun and kind of compelling, but it's like, what's the tale?
Yeah, like I feel like, the big thing on your Kickstarter video should be like, hey, this is the project we want. Like, we want you to back, we want you to support. So, like, unless you're like one of those people who had like a large following before you really started it, I feel like it's important to have that in there. That being said, I'm a sucker for stuff like that. I was very entertained the entire time. Like, I love the banter. So for me, that worked. I mean, granted, I don't know what it is. I'm curious to check it out just because the video put a smile on my face, but I can't speak on how I feel about the comic itself.
It's the first time we played the whole video. Not lying to
Really?
you guys, we have not played that whole video until this point. So thank you. You guys actually let the whole video play. I thought it was funny, but it doesn't say anything about the book. So I understand why a lot of people have paused it in the past. But time's running out. If he got you with his sense of humor, now is the time to reward him by backing it. But one person we want to reward is our friend Sam Johnson from the UK talking about Geek Girl. And I can see you guys again in this one.
This hot, popular college chick, Ruby K. She owns a pair of super tech glasses. They give her flight and super strength powers, but the initial impact is she's not used to these strength powers and they make her super klutzy. When she's trying to demonstrate her powers to her friends, she alienates the meaner girls of her clique, knocking drinks over them. But from there, she grows into a heroine, helped and pushed on by her best friend, Summer. Now, that's the setup, but what's happening now, we're ongoing with Geek Girl. So I've always wanted to bring some weirder elements to my comics, but it required an ongoing series. So Doom Patrol, I always reference Grant Morrison's run on Doom Patrol, is a big influence on me, and I've created various ideas over the years. Ideas like Groove Jet, The Living Party, White Tops, Ratfink, Carbracini, Voodoo Junkie, Hip Woman. Now these are all going to be coming to the pages of Geek Girl.
All right, Cindy's tapped. First time. Why'd you tap, Cindy?
His intro, I couldn't understand most of what he was saying, and it wasn't because of the accent, it was the echo in the background. And the flash cuts between the artwork, and then the artwork's gone, and I almost didn't have enough time to see what the art was before it vanished. And then you're cutting to just the dialogue screens. It lost me altogether.
I get that. And do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so, I mean, Geek Girl is a thing I've seen, like, everywhere. I want to check it out. I've seen a bunch of stuff for it. So I was interested in hearing more about it. I did have a hard time understanding him a bit, but I'll agree the switch from him talking to, like, the dialogue and music was, like, really jarring. It kind of took me back.
Well, I can't argue with that, actually. It's a solid point. All right, so one of the things that we're excited to share with you guys is someone who comes back, someone who's been around since like the very early time. And this is one of those projects that's continued to go. We're on issue 4. This has been on now 4 years. We had one of the very first issues for this when we first started this store, back when it was called the Kickstarter Report. Believe it or not, this show started off as the Kickstarter Report. So it's great to see him back. Check out this video. Again, everyone's like leaving Kickstarter on Memorial Day. I'm telling you, this ends on, I believe, June 2nd. So it will make the next show. This will make the next show, but we'll literally be counting down the minutes to its end. But here we go. Check out this video. And this time it's a full video. So raise your hands and we'll pull you back out.
Hello, all you beautiful independent comic book fans. It's Brian Lau, and I'm back at it again with Staunch Ambitions Epic Double Size Issue 4.
Mind-bending. Chemical.
If you're new to Staunch Ambition, this is the perfect time to come aboard. Because now you can get the full Season 1 story either as individual issues or the combined 128 full-color remastered trade. This trade's going to come with everything. You're going to get the full story, you're going to get all of the standard and variant covers, remastering the lettering, the dialogue, the colors, you have bonus material, beautiful new wraparound cover, and if that wasn't enough...
Hey, it's Leah. You may know me as Eden Hawkins from Netflix's Lock and Key, but I'm incredibly excited to partner with Brian over at Staunch Ambition to bring you music, a little bit different from what Eden Hawkins is typically used to. I'm also incredibly honored to be illustrated as Commander Rael, and I'm very excited for you all to watch the series, and you gotta read the series, because it's a comic book. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed Staunch Ambition and the music that I am working hard to put together for it. And make sure to share with your friends and family and fellow comic book lovers, and let's get this thing off the ground and up into outer space. It was so cheesy, but it worked. Okay, bye.
And as always, I want to offer you Kickstarter supporters a version of the book that no one else can get outside of Kickstarter. We have the variant cover of issue 4. These are numbered and they're only available during the campaign. So make sure you pick up a copy before the campaign ends. We also have a few left of the previous issues. Those will only be available on the add-ons after the campaign when you're filling your reward out. In fact, if there's any item that you wish was in your rewards, you'll have the opportunity to add it after the campaign. I want to give a special thanks to all my loyal and patient fans. After issue 3 of Staunch, I changed gears and I did this one-shot graphic novel, True Stories from Real Detroit Firefighters, called Infernal City Firehouse. If you don't have a copy of it, I highly recommend picking it up in this Kickstarter. I have some exciting movie news that I'm going to be able to share with you soon as I get permission. So stay tuned. Thank you for checking us out and all your support. Take care. If that wasn't wow, okay.
Didn't like the sound at the end. I hate when they do things like that. That's so annoying to me. But otherwise, I thought it was good. What did you guys think?
He had me until the beep.
Yeah, right.
Probably was because I had headphones on. I get the put in a blooper. I mean, this is away from the story or the comic. Comic I am interested in. But yeah, that's my one knock. Like, yeah.
Cindy?
The art was cool. I still don't know anything about the story. And I understand this is a later in the series, and so he's probably pitching mostly to his previous buyers. But I should have liked a bit more background on what's going on in the tale. But with the description of the backer rewards and the special guest star and all that fun stuff, that was good info. Maybe trade a bit of it out for a little on what happens in the plot, even like an elevator pitch.
Yeah, it's a good point. We say this on the show all the time. You should be using Kickstarter to grow your audience, not just sell it back to your audience. Because then you could do that from your web page, right? You could just do that from your store. Once you've gotten them, they're now part of your network. So that's a very good point, Cindy. Thank you for making it. All right, so we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Spec Thomas. Spec Thomas was announced to be part of the Continuum's upcoming book. We'll talk about that as soon as we're done with Spec. But first, check out what he has brought us, and this is Legacy of the View. And let me play the video for you guys. Hold on, let me take this off. We'll get the video up, and we'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? This is Specs Thompson, the creator of Legacy of the View, and this is my Kickstarter for issue 3 of my comic book series. And hopefully by the end of this video, I can get y'all as a backer to help me out, boost my dream up, to get these books, these characters, and these stories that I feel on a little bit in y'all hands, so y'all can fall in love with them the same way I have. So let's go.
The Legacy of the View stars a high school sophomore named Chaz Johnson, who's an intern at his uncle's recording studio as a musical engineer. I chose to make him a musical engineer because I'm in the music industry as a DJ, and I want to incorporate aspects of my life inside my comic book series. So I chose to make him a musical engineer so that he can meet the different artists that I place inside my comic book world, as well so that I can use different lingo that's used inside the studio, as well as different terms and techniques that's used as well, so the readers who's not familiar with the studio life or the aspects of the studio or the recording process can learn about it inside the Legacy of the View. So enough about that. So basically, Chaz became the View by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He got stuck between the crossfire between the Howl and the Silent, which are the two villain groups in the story. And he got his powers by unknown circumstances from that crossfire that will explain his origin story later on. But right there in the picture, you can see how he uses his mask. He takes his shirt that he's wearing, he put it around his head, tie it up, and he got a mask right there, ready to go at any time. Anyway. So yeah, y'all seen some panels, y'all seen some pages, y'all seen how Chaz transforms into the View, just right there. But I forgot something. I forgot to tell you about his powers. That main thing about him. So, with the powers of the View, he has the powers of creation. With the powers of creation, he's able to spawn items out of thin air that typically last 1 minute. But first, he has to know about them items. He can't just make items out of nothing that he don't know about. So, if you try to make a car, he gotta know how that motor works. Without that motor, the car won't work. But you know he does he makes a baseball bat. Because he's a baseball player. He knows the ins and outs of that baseball bat. So he used that baseball bat to whoop people's butts. And you can see that in pretty much all my issues. He used that baseball bat and he goes to town. And that's one thing about him. He knows his items, he used them beforehand. Because if he didn't, it won't work. They'd be too flimsy, too soft, and just be terrible. But you know, Chad's a smart guy, and he knows better. Alright, this Kickstarter right here is worth $1,300 to help my project, my dream, come true. But it's $1,300. I'm going to use to pay my staff, everybody who helped me create this book, money they need to better their lives. Because, you know, it's all about coming together, we all eat. And as well, my printer. So I get these books in y'all hands so y'all can enjoy and fall in love with characters, like I said, same way I do. And then, you know, the View is not my only character. I got plenty more characters ready to go. But I need this Kickstarter right here for this $1,300 to work. So I can have other characters come alive too and make this whole world I created come together. So y'all fall in love and just be the next Marvel, DC, or Image, or the Dark Horse, anything like that come true. You know, this is my world, my Jordan universe, and I'm trying to get y'all to know about the View and my comic books. So it's $1,300 I need from y'all to help me out, get my dream to come true. So right now, if y'all don't mind, y'all go to the bottom of this page. You know, this is back this project, a little tab right there.
All right, that part I'm cutting out just because we're at the point where there's no tab bat down there, so it doesn't make sense to play that part because we're not on Kickstarter. What'd you guys think?
You want to go first, Cindy?
Okay. The story sounded interesting, and I liked the artwork. His script could use a bit of editing. When he started to repeat himself, especially toward the end, a bit of that could have been trimmed out.
I gotta say, he comes off very passionate. But what did you think of it? So I think you were about to tap out too.
Yeah, towards the end, where like, actually, I have mostly positives for it. I was gonna tap out towards the end because like I kind of already got the vibe. Is like, you've told me everything I need to know about the story, and now you're just kind of saying, hey, you know, I need $1,300, make my dream come true, which is great, but you don't really need to repeat that, and then like pointing to where I'm gonna back, like that's where it ends for me. But overall, like, one of the stories I like the most is when someone is already into that thing and they're passionate about it, because like you can feel that passion come through when they're writing it. Like, all right, I'm in the music industry. I'm using dialogue in there. I'm using it as a way to teach people. Like, I like that a lot. Kind of going back a note from the last video we had, like he mentioned this is the 3rd issue of it, but he still gave us information to let us know, okay, new person coming here, jumping in, here's what you need to know. Description of the powers is great. Like, the only things I would take away from the video as far as like negatives would be the kind of repeating towards the end, and then the transitions. Some of them were like, you know, like I mentioned before, like for everyone, the other one's kind of jarring. That usually like makes me kind of taken aback by it.
It's just video editing, and we're going to be able to help him with that stuff as he joins us for the Continuum Presents Heroics coming this June. We're really excited to have a mini tale from him from The View join us. Really exciting. What's not exciting, though, guys, even though that's coming in June, we're out of time for today. We only have time to watch one more video. So I'm going to let you guys choose what we have. I'm going to give you 3 pitches, and you guys are going to be able to pick the one that you guys think we should watch. So here we go. We have Sean Keenan has a story of God's Ghost and Intergalactic Tournament of Champions for the 13th Labor, or we could watch Robert Molitari's Nightwolf 1 through 5, the urban fantasy werewolf coming of age drama. After discovering his werewolf lineage, a young man is reluctantly thrown into a supernatural war. Or we can do Ramor, master thief in a future police state. What sticks out to you guys is the one we have to watch this evening?
I actually found Nightwolf earlier today, and I backed it earlier today. It was very interesting. Like I'm really big on anything involving like monsters, like vampires, werewolves, as you can see from my own stuff. So that for that reason.
Cindy?
I'll go with Nightwolf. For me, it was a toss-up between 13th Labor and Nightwolf.
Well, let's do this. Let's play Nightwolf. We'll judge it, and we'll end the show on 13th. We'll just let it play as we go out, and then we'll play the importance of $1. So at least we'll play the video because Cindy thought it was interesting, and we could have that. So here's Nightwolf. You guys know the deal. You guys can tap on this one, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. Nightwolf, our friend Rob, and he will be on actually the new interview show I'm doing. Continuum Comics Creative Corner sometime in the near future. Stay tuned for your local listings to see when that'll be on. But here we go. This is Nightwolf 1 through 5.
Do you love stories about anti-heroes and supernatural beings like werewolves, vampires, demons, witches, zombies, and more? Then Nightwolf is the comic book series for you. Nightwolf's unique take on theology and mythology encompasses elements of horror, magic, fantasy in a modern setting. Hi, I'm Robert A. Malteri, the creator and writer of Nightwolf, as well as the founder of Lone Wolf Comics. It's been my dream since I was a kid struggling with attention deficit disorder and dyslexia to be a comic book creator because comics have helped me learn to overcome my disability. Born into an outcast breed of werewolves known as the Monokai, 18-year-old Rodney Marcelli is reluctantly thrown into an ancient war between good and evil. With the help of Snowpaw, the pureblood Monokai, Rod must learn to master his newly found lycanthropy and mysterious kinetic energy power that only he possesses. Rod must fight the Dark Covenant in order to avenge his friends and family and to save the girl he loves from the master vampire Lord Malice. Rodney Marcelli is Nightwolf. In April of 2016, I launched a failed Kickstarter campaign for Nightwolf issues 1 through 3. I played the game on hard, setting a $20,000 goal. However, I did manage to raise over $5,000, but Kickstarter is an all-or-nothing platform. I didn't let that failed launch stop me, so I decided to raise the money on my own by doing freelance web design jobs to pay the artists. After self-publishing Nightwolf issues 1 and 2, I came back to Kickstarter in October 2019. Since then, I've had 3 successfully overfunded campaigns for Nightwolf issues 3 and 4 and the Volume 1 trade paperback that collects all 4 issues. That's all thanks to my amazing backers that I refer to as my Wolfpack. Currently, I have written 12 issues of Nightwolf, and I have published the first 4 issues in print and digital formats. Now, I stand ready to publish issue 5, which is 100% complete and is ready to send off to the printers. That's why I've come back to pay for the printing and the rewards that you will receive for backing this project. I'd like to personally thank you in advance for backing this project and joining the Wolfpack. I'm extremely grateful for where I am now as a self-publisher and continuing to serialize Nightwolf for you to enjoy. There is no risk in backing this project since the first 4 issues are published and already printed, and issue 5 is print ready. Again, thank you for taking this creative journey with me. I appreciate it so much. So what are you waiting for? Join the Wolfpack today.
All right, no Untapped. That looked beautiful. I love his passion. You guys have anything to say about it?
Yeah, he was definitely very interested, very energetic about his project. Interesting that he chose to highlight that he had a few failed Kickstarters first, but I guess that showed that he's persistent and he stayed with the project and continued to work on it and didn't let minor setbacks hold.
And Cindy, where can they find you and your Kickstarter? Just real quick as we wrap up the show.
Okay. You can find me at my webpage, caoepp.com. My Kickstarter, there's a link on my webpage, but you can get there from bit.ly/animaliks.
All right, my friend, what did you think of? Of course, you backed it, so you liked it. So where can they find you, and where can do you have a special link for your Kickstarter?
As far as special link, this actually just came to me right now. I do have a Facebook page set up specifically for it. It's just called Sacrifice Comic. On there, I mean, I post updates as far as like, hey, here's a sneak preview of this page. This is something the artist has done recently. And then all of those, since the Kickstarters come out, have had links for it. Outside of that, just like I mentioned earlier in the show, on Instagram and Twitter as always _B_evil.
All right, guys. Thank you both. You guys have been amazing judges. We're going to watch that 13th Warrior on the way out and then tell you about the importance of $1. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this evening. And make sure you go out there and back these campaigns. Some great ones, man. A lot of mending this weekend, so don't wait. And now you can go to backerpaws.com to see all of these amazing projects. We'll see you next week. Remember, the news is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We're actually doing the news at 9 p.m. tomorrow. So check in with Weekended tomorrow at 9 p.m. And here is, as promised, the 13th Warrior.
What's up, everybody? My name's David Gay, and I'm here to talk to you about the 13th Labor. The 13th Labor is a fantasy sci-fi comic written by myself, illustrated by Arturo Mesa, and lettered by Tom Napolitano. The comic picks up just as Hercules, Greek demigod of swollenness, is finishing up his 12 labors. Labors that have taken years off his life, but have left him no closer to the peace of body and soul that he seeks after the death of his family. Never one to miss exploiting his own children, Zeus offers Hercules a final labor, one that will take him thousands of years into the future and will determine not only his fate, but the fates of everyone on Earth. The 13th Labor is a family drama wrapped in a bloody tale of gods and aliens. If you enjoyed comics like Jupiter's Legacy, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Thor, or movies like Immortals, Guardians of the Galaxy, even Little Miss Sunshine, stories where heroic accolades are earned, not given, then the 13th Labor is definitely for you. This is the very first printing for issue 1 of the 13th Labor, and we have some outstanding rewards for this campaign, including personalized sketches from the seriously talented Arturo Mesa, as well as 2 variant covers exclusive to this Kickstarter only. Thank you everyone for your constant support, and we can't wait to show you what's next.
The power of a single dollar. One single dollar can help make dreams come true. Every dollar is a declaration of support and belief. It helps the creators and the teams behind the book. Just $1 helps create new worlds and keeps creators creating.